Hi, this is Dr. Andrew Colyer from MuscleTestingTV.com, and today is show number 5. As you can see, we're here in beautiful Sedona, Arizona, and we've been out here teaching our live basic and advanced muscle testing workshops. We also attended a workshop class yesterday by Dr. David Hawkins entitled Happiness. So today, your muscle testing tip has to do with an advanced muscle testing tip. And I'm bringing this to you today because somebody nailed me yesterday in the hallway at a restaurant, and she said, you know, I'm trying to test things on my own and I get so upset that I just can't get any answers. What should I do? Well, this is a very advanced question, and it's a very complicated question. So one of the things, your tip for today is, often if you're trying to get an answer to a question, it's often a lot more complicated than you probably think. One of the problems with muscle testing and kinesiology, especially when people start applying advanced types of things like trying to ask questions of the body, trying to make statements and finding out about congruent and non-congruent statements, true and false statements, yes and not yes statements, is they try to take a very complex question or statement and make a blanket statement or question and get a response. And basically that's not the correct way to do things. What happens is, when you have something that's very complex, it needs to be broken down into small, what we call baby steps, or very small pieces, and look at things from a different angle. If you have something that's very complex, it's like a diamond with many facets, and often just trying to use a simple muscle test, a yes or no, congruent or non-congruent, in an answer to some very complicated matter, it's not an appropriate way to use muscle testing and kinesiology. It doesn't mean that you can't use muscle testing and kinesiology to help solve the problem, but it means that you're trying to take something complicated and you're making it too simple, and that's why you are frustrated and you're not getting good answers, you're not getting good results, and you're confused. Another thing that I want to bring up is that this woman nailed me in the hallway and she asked me this question, and part of what she said to me was, well, I'm so upset, you know, because I'm so confused, I don't know what to do. And I said, well, what happened? And she's also doing self-testing. So first of all, self-testing is a very advanced technique. If you haven't mastered the what we teach in our live workshops and in our home study course, and what we're going to be continuing to share with you here at MuscleTestingTV.com, is that muscle testing, there are 4 levels to muscle testing. We're not going to get into that today because we don't have time, but basic testing are the first 2 levels. Self-testing is level 3. There's a 4th level called consciousness calibration research technique. If you're not familiar with that, don't worry about it. If you're trying to do self-testing and you haven't mastered the basics and the fundamentals, then don't try to self-test because you're not going to get accurate or consistent results. Another thing that we teach in our live workshops and in our home study course is that if you are trying to test anything, whether you are a practitioner or you're a layperson testing at home, you must be objective and detached. So the mere fact this woman says to me, well, I'm too upset and I can't get good results. Well, of course you can't get good results because you're upset and you're not being objective and detached. Muscle testing is just that. It's a test, okay? To perform a test accurately, especially when muscle testing and kinesiology, one needs to remain objective and detached. That's one of our 19 muscle testing do's and don'ts that we teach people. So I said to this woman, well, you need to get clear, or you need to kind of release the upset, or maybe do some testing when you're not so upset, or you need to test with someone else who can be objective. She said, well, you know, I live in Ohio, and, you know, I don't have anybody to test with, so I have to do self-testing. So all I can say is that's a recipe for frustration. Here's the thing. And I said, you need to try to release some of your emotional upset around this so you can be clear. She said, well, how do I do that? So granted, you know, I'm on my way to the bathroom, and I'm in a restaurant. She's nailing me in the hallway. So the thing is, How do you get clear? Well, that's a really complicated question right there. So she's already got too much complication underneath a whole bunch of complication. So first of all, go to netmindbody.com. Okay? That's look up neuro-emotional technique, NET. Find an NET practitioner to work on some of your emotional issues. Go to emofree.com, and these links are listed below the video here on our website. EmoFree is Emotional Freedom Technique, that's EFT. Download the manual there for free and start treating yourself, tapping out, clearing some of these emotional issues, or find a practitioner to work through some of these things. Find another type of practitioner who does emotional clearing and releasing. There are other techniques. There are releasing techniques. There are many other techniques, and we have some resources here on the website, and we'll be giving you more resources in our upcoming shows. But start with NET or EFT, and one needs to be clear. One needs to be calm. If you can't be clear or calm, you definitely need to work with another practitioner who can be objective, because they're not you immersed in your own stuff. So I'm throwing kind of several tips in here today, because number one, if you're going to try to test, whether you're testing with someone else or you're self-testing, you need to be objective and detached. And number two, don't try to take something that's very complicated and make it so simple that you're never going to be able to get an accurate answer. So anyway, that's our tips for today. I'm Dr. Andrew Colyer here at MuscleTestingTV.com. Thanks a lot for joining in. And you know our new motto, we have a new motto here, and it is this: you are the source of your own happiness. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.